You, what going on? You're tuned in to the best, the Same Difference podcast, another live episode with Ja and
Nisi. Good night.
Good night, good night, good night. If you just tuned in, I think we've missed maybe a week. I did miss last week. I was busy handling some business, and then something happened where a guy ran into a tree in my yard, and it was a whole thing. But we're back, and Sunday we are also on for Sunday. We're gonna have Jassy Clark gonna be in the building. He's gonna join the live stream for a different day with John Nisi. So you tune in. How you doing?
Good. I'm glad you clarified that I wasn't the issue why we weren't on the air. Like, I'm so happy to not have been the issue. Going forward, it might be because Virgo season coming, and
exactly.
Y'all have vacation time. But
why you gotta celebrate for the whole month though? Explain that to me.
Well, my birthday is, so I celebrate August because my birthday is in August. So I usually celebrate the month of August. And then I'm a Virgo, so I celebrate Virgo season. So I celebrate through Virgo season. So it lasts like a good 2 months. One of the reasons I started doing that, I've been doing it for years, but one of the reasons I started to do it is because when I usually plan something for my birthday, I don't always get to celebrate it with the people I want to be there because people do have lives, they have things to do. So I've started breaking it up like into different things to allow people to have an opportunity to celebrate with me that I want to celebrate with, but they don't have to be confined to the one specific day. If that makes sense. And not everybody could afford everything every year. Some people are good at, we could go trips. Some people are like, hey, can we just do like a lunch? And so I try to really be open to people's situation, including my own, because I run into them at time to time. And so, but I like the simplicity. I like trips and stuff, but I love the simplicity of a good birthday, like a lunch and a postcard that's me. I like them kind of little
simplicity, things. Sure.
No, but how I celebrate, what I do for me and what people do for me is two different things. Like I like if you send me, like I love postcards, like I collect them. You know what? You should do a postcard drive for me for my birthday. I would like that. So people could send me not the postcard with the monument from. I want like a real happy birthday postcard.
Postcards is like single.
I want a postcard.
Right. It's 2025, but sure, we'll see what we can do.
I love them. I do love a good postcard. So things like that,
Do you have one of those postcard holders? Do you have one of those postcard holders? Like, where do you put them?
I have a thing that I keep. I have like 3 of them because I collect them from since high school. I've had postcards that old.
Oh, all right. Yeah. We gonna look into it, and we gonna see if Akeem gonna help us accomplish that. That he's waiting backstage.
He is.
Mr. VibezNatural is on the show. Akeem Mcintosh.
My skin.
The God, butter God. He's there backstage waiting, can't wait to bring him out. But you know what we gotta do first? Let you listen to these messages from Same Difference. There he is. Welcome to the show, Akeem. What you say? You muted, I think. I hope.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes.
Greetings, everybody. I'm blessed to be here. Give thanks for the opportunity. Definitely looking forward to the conversation.
All right. So, for the people that may not know you, can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Okay, so my name is Akeem Mcintosh.
Why you say like that?
No, well. The reason why I say is because it's so hard to. Sometimes it's hard to introduce myself because I do so much. You know what I mean? I have so many hats that I wear, or I have so many things under my belt. You know, I am, again, my name is Akeem Mcintosh, born and raised here in St. Croix. I currently at this chapter in my life, I am the CEO, the owner and producer of VibezNatural products. I actually, in addition to produce natural body butters and skincare products, hair care products, and stuff of that nature. Right now, I also coach youth basketball. At one point in my life, I was doing tarot readings live on Facebook, dabble in astrology. I worked with the National Park Service. You know, I have a degree in secondary education and social sciences. So, yeah, I was also part of the 175th Emancipation Commemoration Committee. So, I mean, I sing and write music. So, I have a lot of things that I do. It's kind of hard to pick one and just say, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I do. Because I do just about everything.
Dang.
Nice.
Yeah. I did not know about half of those things, so thank you for clarifying. And Jesse Clark says Akeem is the best man to daps when your hand ashy.
Correct.
You get some residual about that.
So now that we heard all of the things that this man does, I'm gonna let Nisi start it off because she loves your products and she is a religious consumer of yours. So please go ahead and start us off, Nisi.
First, thank you. You know, you see the skin. There's no makeup.
Mm-hmm.
It just glows. It just
That's
glows.
the guy, butter glow.
That's the butter. Correct.
The butter.
And you that's the butter. And I came across your product years ago, not from you, but from what's that store in town that sells it? The store that sells the soaps and stuff. So I've been buying it out of that store for a while, not knowing that it was somebody on island selling. I know it was a VI person, but I didn't know you were on island as well, selling them as well. So when I came across you somewhere one time, I was like, I have all of these things. And you were like, really? And you were like, but you didn't buy them from me. And I was like, I don't even know you. But, and ever since then, I will say, like, the one time we met, he has, and he continues to always greet me wherever he sees me. He always says hello. He's always polite, friendly. He's not forcing, like, oh, I have, like, you need more body. Like, I buy my stuff religiously, don't get me wrong, but he's very much a kind-hearted person. I do love his energy and his spirit. And I do love the products. You can see my skin as well. So I don't buy things that don't work for me, or just because it's not just because it's from the VI means I can just keep buying it. But he does, and he always lets me know if he has samples of a new scent to come try it. He's somewhere, and you know, me and the girls will be over there bringing people to the table, and you know, we just drop off people to the table and be like, right here, and walk out. So see, he laughing, like we do that all the time. So love the product. I love investing in it. I love the longevity of it. It's not something you buy today and done in 30 days. Like, if you done a glass but in 30 days, you have a real skin problem, like a real problem. A little bit goes so far and keeps your skin so moisturized. I love it.
Who probably has a skin problem, you said?
My mother, because my mother, like, I didn't give my mother like the big jar about this big, she run through that thing like a month and a half. Yeah.
What?
That's because she gets it for free. People do that.
You know what? Maybe that's what it is. But I'm not being conservative, but it does go a long way into your skin. And then he also has the oil. So sometimes I would use like the oil with it, like depends on where I'm going. And it's just like a very nice, you know, them girl you just see in the video and the skin just look nice and the oil and wet. That's how it'll look when you put it on together. Okay.
Well, let's get into the product line a little bit, man. Because I'm trying to figure out why you get. As you can see here, we got some God butters and Goddess butters. I need to understand. So you got God butter, like these two flavors, cocoa mango and lemongrass. And then you have Goddess butters, like this raspberry rose and tropical kiss. Understand, this ain't the whole line, but can you please explain it? Is God for the men? Is Goddess for the women? Like, how does it work?
Well, originally when I made God butter, you know, I made it as like a unisex type of product. Basically, it was always primarily meant to be something that any and everybody could use, you know, from young and old to man and woman, you know. But over time, as I started branching, originally it was just God butter. There wasn't any fragrance, any specific fragrance type or tag to it. Eventually, over time, you know, as I was trying to find different ways to come kind of like build the brand and boost the product and attraction to the product, you know, naturally with skincare products, the first thing you're going to think to do is to increase like your fragrance profiles, basically. So then I came up with the lemongrass and then the cocoa mango, and you know that was the three main products for the big in the very beginning. It was God butter, the original God butter, which was a lavender vanilla fragrance. Then I had the lemongrass and the cocoa mango, and then over time, then I thought to myself, well, okay, let's try. I don't want to continue to just, you know, changing the fragrance brand and or the fragrance type and, you know, relabeling. I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different, but still within the realm of God butter, you know, or the theme of kind of using like a celestial or like supernatural kind of energy. And yeah, I said, well, let's do something more specific to the ladies, because I mean, my top demographic or my main demographic or supporters primarily are females. I mean, I have males that actually would purchase from me as well, but I mean, my main customers, or my primary customers are females. So I was like, okay, why not do something more specific to the females? And that's when I came up with the raspberry rose, and then a year later for Tart Wires, I came up with Tropical Kiss.
Nice, nice. How many items do you have in your product line currently?
So currently, for God butter, I have right now currently I sell 4 different items. I have God butter, God butter, or the body butters, which is God butter and Goddess butters, different fragrances, and then I have the angel oil, where I have a number of fragrances in that as well, and then I have a hair restoration oil and a CBD herbal pain reliever that I sell as well.
And Nisi was saying that you have some of this stuff in stores home right now, or for a while
Yeah,
now.
so originally I started with STX oil bar, and that was kind of like a trial for me, really and truly. You know, just taking a shot, a stab in the dark. You know, I just went. They had not too long ago opened. This was in what, 2018? I think, yeah, 2018. If not 2018, 2019, but I think 2018. They had not too long ago or just recently opened, and I said, well, you know what? Why not? Let's give it a try and see what happens. You know, and they were like, yeah, why not? Bring it on. Let me sample it. See how we like it. They sample it and they liked it, and then from there, you know, they were pushing it hard. Everybody come through the door. They were basically giving them a sample. And once people sampled it, automatically they fell in love with it and purchased it. So like at one point with STX oil bar, I was strapping off probably like 50 to 80 jars every 2 weeks, you know. And that was kind of like a eye opener for me, or my first eye opener. Well, let me not say that. That wasn't my first eye opener, but that was a big like thing for me, or a big like, you know, light bulb went off for me that, you know, I have something great here that I really could like try to capitalize on more. Because all of this was like, it was like phases. It wasn't like, you know, how some people would have a plan all written out and then they initiate the plan and they hit the ground running. For me, it was like I was kind of like tiptoeing into the arena, if that makes sense. You know, like how when you're going into the water for the full time, you're gonna dip your toe into the water to see how it feel, and then you're gonna go ankle deep and then knee deep, and then you're gonna dive right in. That's how I would describe my approach or my entry into this whole field of entrepreneurship and skincare and body care products, right? I basically developed something out of like experimentation. I kind of shared it with friends and family. They was like, oh yeah, you should sell this. And then from there, you know, I went on, when I did like the first event that I did was Mango Mele in 2019. So it was 2019, and from Mango Mele, that's when I ended up going to STX Oil Bar, and then it just snowballed from there.
Congratulations on your success, because we all know, you know, experimenting and putting yourself out there, especially in the Virgin Islands, can be difficult. And I'm glad that you hit the ground running like that. You see, so you go ahead, sorry.
Oh well, I was just going to say, you know, I'm really grateful that the Creator gave me the inspiration, because I mean, and I mean, I didn't name it God butter because the God gave me the inspiration. You know, that was kind of like somebody else named it God, but I just rolled with it. You know what I mean? Because I was like, that's kind of pretentious, you know. But yeah, they're gonna catch people attention, so why not? You know. But like I said, grateful that God gave me the inspiration, because at the end of the day, you know, you have a lot of people that's inspired to do a lot of different things, and it doesn't go as far, it doesn't last as long. You know, people don't gravitate to it as much as people have gravitated to God butter. And for me to actually be making a living off of it, grateful, man.
That's dope. So, Nisi, you actually try the products, you use them religiously. What's your favorite one?
Well, my favorite, honestly, is the original. I love the original God butter. I still like my jar half somewhere around. That's my favorite, like everyday one. Because if I wanted to wear like another scent, if I want to spray like a perfume or something over that, I can. And then so I do have the lemongrass. I do have the tropical kiss, and I think I do. I don't think I have the rose. I think I'm missing that one.
Well,
but
you need to know.
Right, I'm thinking how am I missing a product? But
I don't know how you do that, because I remember when I got that one out, you and your crew was like the first to gravitate to that. So you probably had it and you run out. Yeah, man. Yeah,
no,
man.
That's why, you know what? That's why we don't have it. You only had the oil. You had no more jars. That was what Frederick said. You didn't have any more jars of the rose.
I remember that. That's true.
See? That's why I didn't have it. And then so I wasn't thinking about it since then, like I'm missing the rose. So thanks for reminding me that I don't have it. But he didn't have the oil. Now we got the oil, but I don't have the butter itself.
Okay. So tell us, Nisi. Somebody need to explain to me how you to use this thing, because I had purchased some, because guess who pushed me to go get some to bring some to my daughter and whatnot, right? So I got some and I just gave it to her, because I don't know what you do with this thing, because it's not no large, like, you know what I'm saying? So me, I know I don't know how I could use it on myself, because to prevent ash, I need a gallon. I need all you got. So
no, you don't need a gallon, man. Please explain. Like me sister, a little bit goes a long way. You know, it's made of shea butter, cocoa butter, mango butter, jojoba oil, and coconut oil, and just the butters in general provide a deep, long-lasting moisture. Like I've had so many people come to me and tell me about, you know, they were struggling with ashy heels, you know, working in an air-conditioned office for all day, and then they constantly have to reapply lotion. But once they apply the butter one time, you know, they're good for the entire day. I had a friend who was living in the States doing mechanic work in the States, and he was like, yeah, his ashes knuckles them always ashy, because, you know, after doing work all day, gotta wash his hands and, you know, constantly drying out his skin. But after using the butter, dryness didn't exist anymore. He didn't have that problem anymore. You know, and what I've grown to believe is that a lot of the products that we use on a daily basis, a lot more of the commercial products that we use, they don't really nourish the body. You know what I mean? A lot of them are like silicone based, or have a lot of like silicone or synthetic elements in them that the body doesn't actually absorb appropriately. So it's not getting like the adequate nourishment, right? But when you use things like butters and oils, that can actually, your body can actually absorb fully and completely. Your body gets a deeper, longer lasting moisture. So even when you don't use butter for a long period of time, but let's say you just decide you want to take a shower and you're gonna run to the supermarket and come back quick. If you don't put no butter, you ain't gotta worry, because your skin ain't gonna be ashy, because you have such a deep, long-lasting moisture from the repetitive or constant use of the product. So it doesn't just make you look good, but it actually, so like what I like to say, God butter make you look good, smell good, feel good, and heal good. It'll keep you it'll take care of you all the way.
We're waiting at Nakamarshall.
I agree. I agree with make you feel good, because even with, like you said, even if I don't have to use it like every day, twice a day when I whatever. If I don't use it, my skin still feels good. Like it will take a while. It will have to take like a significant amount of time for my skin to feel like dehydrated, or sometimes when somebody's skin is like very dry, you can feel the texture of that skin. Like my skin to feel really nice. I like it. And like he said, a lot of products have scents to them, but they smell good, but that's all they are. You're just putting on a scent on your skin. And so for me, consistent wearing of it, even if you're just trying it on your hands, like at first I used to strap it on my hands to my elbow just to see, because my skin is very funny too as well. So I'd be like, I gotta be careful. People say, yeah, good for you. That doesn't mean it's good for my skin. And so you have to be careful with what you're doing with your skin and your body and whatever. And I realized like, this really feels good. My skin looks better, it's glowing, and I started to put it on my face. Once I made sure it was good with my hands, and then people always be like, oh, your skin glowing, and I'd be like, it's just some God butter. And so I kind of been putting people on to about it, and I don't talk about things that I don't use in real life, and I don't care about or I don't value. I ain't gonna big it up if me mean it. So yeah, I like my product. I love it. I like it more than the oil. I prefer the butter than the oil. That's just my preference for my skin. But I do have the oils too as well.
What's the name of the oil?
Angel oil.
Angel oil. Okay. Jerica says, Akeem, I need 2 big jars from you. My last one done.
Period.
And I just finished make some butter, so I'm gonna link you later, man. I'm gonna link you later this evening, if not this evening, tomorrow for sure.
Only in the VI you can make an order like this.
Only. I love it though. I love it for us.
So this is how it looks when you support local. You get what I'm saying? Support your local. You can't do this for Walmart.
Listen to me, right? As you talk about supporting local, right? Again, I'm one of the things that people would tell you is I'm a very grateful individual, right? I always take time to give thanks for the fact that I'm able not only to live life on my own terms by making this product, but I have people that actually out here loving what I'm doing and supporting me religiously. Like I honestly at a point in my life where I need to figure out how to mass produce this thing. Otherwise, I'm going to be a slave to this thing for the rest of my life, because I have people that can't live without it. You know what I mean? Like I have to continue to produce God butter. And I mean, that's a good problem to have, because how many people have things that they make, whether it's products like skincare, or it's drinks and food, or it's clothing. They have people that make things, and they hard pressed to get people to support their business. You know what I mean? Where I'm in a position where I have people that want my products continuously. That's something I'm definitely grateful for. And this kind of like, to me, is like a good segue into like surviving as a business in the Virgin Islands. Because people, I'm not saying that the Virgin Islands don't have challenges and difficulties, because it definitely does. Right? But how I look at it is like, if I won't say if you're in the right business, but if you have the right approach, you have good products, and you're good with people gonna support you, and you're gonna do well. But you just have to be you just have to be good at what you do. You know what I mean? Make sure you're perfecting your craft, and you're not out here just being, I don't know if I could cuss and the live, you know what I mean? But you ain't out here being a scunt to people. You know what I mean? You ain't out here just taking advantage, being arrogant, or like, just being overly boastful and being like just a deterrent to people. People gonna support you. That's one thing I must say about VI. People need to support their own as long as you humble.
Well, I agree with you. It does have a formula. Sometimes, that formula may not work, because the VI is also known for supporting what's popular, not necessarily what's the best. You know what I'm saying? So how do you support? how did you, when you were coming up, because you ventured into a, I don't know, a risky thing, man. Like skincare, people are very, funny about the skin as it should be because you could mess it up. So you ventured in, you said that you experimented. How did you experiment with something
Well,
like nut butter?
well, originally, first of all, I never intended to start a business doing this. That was just, like I said, it was purely out of experimentation. I initially started with making natural deodorants because I had learned at some point that a lot of the commercial deodorants have aluminum in them or are aluminum based, and aluminum was found to be like at least correlated to breast cancer. And me stumbling across that information made me think to myself, well, at some point, uh, me at some point, realized that I felt to myself that I could probably attempt to make my own deodorant. And I thought to myself, like, why is it that we living in this world and we don't even know how to make our own deodorant, our own soap, our own clothes? You know what I mean? Everything we have to go and buy. I mean, we have people that specialize in making these things, but some of these things should be like natural to all of us, right? Because we all have a need for them, a basic need for them. But either way, I started with natural deodorants, and around that time I was working at UVI while I was going to school, and there was a professor there that I actually befriended, and his name was Mr. Prosper. So while I used to be at work in the library, he would come to the library, and him and I would chop it up for hours upon hours. Sometimes the library would close, the entire UVI would close, and we would just be there in the parking lot or some place on campus talking. And I was telling him that, I experimented with making natural deodorants. And he was like, you making deodorants? Okay, well, you should probably try something with shea butter. And he actually bought me a block of shea butter, a pound of shea butter, and was like, go home and experiment and see what you come up with. And I made something, and someone used it. A girl I was dating at the time, she used it, her friend used it, and it was like, wow, this is really nice. You should try selling this. And from there, I just did further experimentation. And over the years, it's just evolved from what it was in the beginning to what it is now. And I mean, I never, like I said, it wasn't as if like I had studied and developed like a formula for the product that I have now. I had like a product that I started with, and over time in me attempting to, either improve the product or produce the product a little bit more efficiently or on a larger scale, I've found ways over time to kind of perfect. Let me not say perfect, because there's no such thing as perfection, but I've found ways to just continue to improve the product over time. And where it is right now, I don't know if I could really make it any better than what it is right now. But I'm grateful for where it is right now.
That's dope. Where is the deodorant, Akeem? The people is asking. Since you mentioned deodorant, you say, well, good. Where is it?
Well, I kind of stray away from the deodorant thing. People still ask me for it, but I guess I gotta go back to making deodorant again. But hey,
hold up. Man just out here getting Alzheimer's from putting aluminum on their arms, and you just like, why?
No, well, honestly, I mean, I don't have a problem doing it. It's just honestly, when you gotta do body butter, you gotta do body oil, you gotta do hair oil, you gotta do CBD oil, and you gotta do deodorant, and you're doing all of this by yourself. It's a lot to keep up with. You know what I mean? So I guess I need to start looking to expand my team, man. I can't hear you. You got
no employees. Sorry. You got no employees.
No, me got no employees. Me got no employees yet, man. I right now I fully grassroots still.
I could have, cause I know, like.
Well, let me not say it like that. When, like, say for big events, I would have my family come and assist me.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like producing products and stuff of that nature, that's on me right now.
A couple of years ago, I think maybe it was Ag Fair, or maybe it was a Pate Festival or something. You were selling and you had a girl with you. I don't know if that was your girl or something, but I know you had somebody at one point helping you out. No?
Well, it's a number of people that help me out. Like, say for instance, at the ag fair, every now and again, my girlfriend would come through, her mother would come through, my mother would come through, her mother friend. You know what I mean? So I would have people that would assist me, but I don't have, like I say, for selling products. But in terms of actually producing products, nah, that's not.
I'm sorry. Jesse said, I know a couple of people that could turn Fungi the Armstrong. People ready to help you. Hey, if you need jobs, man, you could become a real powerhouse. Put the deodorant. People walking around musty, kai hot. They need that.
In this jam, yeah, just roll it under something. Yeah.
What I said? Buck. They buck.
Yeah, I gotta expand, and eventually I gonna get here. That's the goal ultimately, because like I said, at some point I want to get my business to a point where I am not directly involved in the production process, but more particularly just involved in like the marketing, the planning, the expansion of the business more so than the menial labor, or not say the menial labor, but just the labor part of it.
No, for sure. That should always be the goal for any business, is upscaling. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Being scalable, and you cannot do that if you're the only employee, the CEO.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's facts. So I'm glad. Clearly, there is a demand. So people want you to expand the line, but you can't do that if it's just you. So yeah,
right.
Hopefully we'll see that soon, man.
For sure.
So we heard about we heard about your fantastic stuff that you've done, right? Can you tell us about some of the missteps along the way that you've had?
Missteps. So one of the things I would say is, and I had this conversation with somebody just today, right? Don't sell yourself short, and don't feel like you're not worth what you think you're worth, right? Because a lot of time, one thing I would say from my experience, one thing that I did was, when I was starting up, I was very apprehensive about selling my products, for fear of rejection, and it turns out that as I put myself out there, people were very, very supportive. Even if they bought once or they bought twice and then buy again, they were very supportive, just to see that I was doing something that was positive, being a young man out of the Virgin Islands, doing something positive. And, not only that, but then it wasn't even like, in your mind, you might give yourself all kind of obstacles or reason as to why. Like, to give you an example, all my labels I basically designed myself, right? I learned Adobe Illustrator while I was working with the National Park Service, and I basically applied that to producing my labels. And I had probably developed my labels maybe within maybe 2 weeks, maybe even less, but I didn't actually print the labels and apply them for probably like a whole month after I had completed them, and that was just my own fear of it not necessarily being accepted or being considered like attractive or worthy to the public, and basically by me doing that, I kind of held myself back. And I basically would just tell anybody, when you're doing something, as long as you put your best foot forward, just go forward, put it out there, and see how it's received, because that's the only way you will know if you're where you need to be, or you could know exactly what you need to do to actually get where you want to go. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things I would definitely say. Don't sell yourself short. Don't hold yourself back.
What questions? Thank you for that.
I was gonna say, yeah, I agree with him, because if you look at anybody starting product, there's always been an evolution to the product, a growth as it evolves, as it makes, you make your sales, as you expand your team. So I like that your setbacks wasn't necessarily the normal ones everybody thinks, but you understood before you got into it that these are these factors that you do have to consider. But I want to just pedal back because you look like you just have a very interesting life. Like when I walk at the national park service and you don't drop UVI and you don't drop teacher and you drop basketball coach. I was like, how many lives you don't live?
It's true. It's true.
Hey, listen, right? As an Aquarius, you know, so as an Aquarius, we just
I don't know what I mean, but tell me.
They don't stay put.
We just, well, as an Aquarius, we just naturally gifted, very knowledgeable, very capable individuals. You know what I mean? So we process information very quickly, understand things easily, and able to just do a lot. You know, but
I see humble is not a part of that.
You see how that's sliding just now?
Well, hey, listen, right? If there's one thing I learned and to go, you see, bring it full circle. You cannot sell yourself short. We ain't just talking about that. You have to sell yourself up. So that's why I do it. You check, I spent a lot of years just being humble and keeping to myself, you know, minding my own business, not necessarily speaking up. And now we're just doing that, just talking, just a little bit. You know, but to answer your question, I've done a lot. I went to UVI. I graduated. Okay, so true son, I consider myself a true son of the Virgin. Well, let me not say that because I kind of in between the Banya and Alien tag, right? Because from my mother's side, I'm the first generation, part of the first generation born here. Because my mother's entire family is from Saint Lucia, right? My father's family is from the Virgin Islands, right? But then at the same time, his mother was born here. Her father was born here, but her grandfather from Antigua, you know, and my father's side, his family from here, a lot of his family is from here, but then I think he has family from St. Kitts too, you know, so big mix up. But born and raised in St. Croix, born in a tent after Hugo, went Lumokol, Elena, Central High, then UVI, graduated with my degree in 2016. And while I was working at UVI, I did a number of different things. While I was going to school, I did IT in UVI as a student worker for a number of years. At the same time, I was tutoring in Arthur Richards. Then I did my student teaching because I was an education major. So I did my student teaching in Arthur Richards as well. And then from there, I did internships with the National Park Service from 2015 to 2017. And then after I had graduated from UVI, I actually moved on eventually to working for Channel 12. I was a traffic coordinator there for a year and change. And then I went on to being a full-time employee of the National Park Service, where I was until I left my job in 2022 to make my own products full-time.
We don't have the same 24 hours.
No. Yeah. I mean, listen, right? Like
you know, 60. Like, what are we talking about? Hey, what?
Okay. Are you 40 yet?
No, I'm 35.
Wow. Damn, I need to stop messing fucking up. I ain't doing shit in my life.
Hey, how much time you really need to sleep?
I need 8.
Do you really though? That's a really guava answer.
You need at least 7, or else you're literally dying. You're literally losing years out.
Well, we'll
but
see.
Listen, you don't live several lives. You don't need a lot of time. You good?
Yeah.
I'm here which encyclopedia are we in today?
And we didn't even talk about tarot and astrology, that part of my life. You know, we didn't even talk.
You did say you read tarot. You did say you was reading.
Can we talk about that? Hey, matter of fact, first the retrograde, right?
Mm-hmm.
That thing is real. That's what I started believing. Like, maybe there's something to this thing, because every time communication start messing up, I'll be like, let me go check. And yes, Mercury is drinking data reading.
You know, something else that I did. at the end of the day, I won't call myself a scientist or a researcher, but I mean, I like to kind of like find evidence for things that I'm curious about, right? Astrology being one of those things. Mercury retrograde is one of the biggest things that I like to use to verify or to validate the accuracy of astrology, right? And whenever Mercury goes into retrograde, you have communication issues, you have technology issues, right. You tend to have fights, you have technology mishaps, disagreements, arguments, stuff like that. But one thing I also was looking into was that what I noticed is that anytime there's a Mercury retrograde, you always have like significant or well-known people that die during a Mercury retrograde, right? And I mean, it just might be me making a random connection, but I actually went through the process at one time just the other day, because I remember when Kylo died, Mercury had went into retrograde not too long before that. When Van Benjamin Akibeka died, Mercury had not too long ago went into retrograde, you know. So and even just the other day, Mercury went into retrograde, and look what's his name, Malcolm Jamal Warner. You know what I mean? So I said, well, let me go and like do a little research and see, right? So I start thinking about different well-known celebrities that passed, and lo and behold, a lot of them died during a Mercury retrograde. One of them was Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? No, I mean I can't really. I think Prince died. I know he died on April 21st, and I think the retrograde started like the 29th or something like that. Right, but the energy of a retrograde usually is present a week and a half to 2 weeks before the retrograde actually begins, and a week and a half to 2 weeks after the retrograde actually ends. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that transitional period. The energy is still present. You know, so yeah, astrology is a real thing, man. It's a very real thing, and there's a lot more to astrology than people really think or know. Most people know, because you would say, okay, Ja, what's your sign?
Libra.
Nisi, what's your sign?
Virgo.
That's interesting. And are y'all on both heads?
Constantly.
Of course.
That makes sense, because I mean, just the fact that Libra is a air sign, and Virgo is an earth sign. Air and earth are opposite elements, you know what I mean? But they still kind of balance one another, so it will still work out to some degree. But all that means is that when you were born, your sun was in Libra. You see, when you was born, your sun was in Virgo. That's just one planet, right? You still have the moon, Venus, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus, the entire solar system. Every planet has a different energy depending on when you were born. Each planet is in a specific sign. So then the energy is expressed in different ways depending on what sign it's in. And then you still have the houses. The houses represent different aspects of your life or different areas of your life, like, you know, your personality, your family, your careers, your children, them kind of stuff. So depending on what sign, depending on where the planets fall, what sign they fall in and what house they fall in, it determines how that planet's energy is going to be present in your life, and how it's going to express itself in your life, and where in your life it's going to be present. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of different elements. And I mean, even at that, you being a Libra is I won't say it's irrelevant, but we to look at those things as the most significant aspect of astrology, when in fact it's really not. The most significant part, if you haven't heard of it by now, is the rising sign. Because the rising sign actually sets the tone for the entire chart, right? Because your rising sign begins your houses. Your first house, okay, so you have 12 houses. I'm going to give you a quick crash course. Okay. You have 12 houses in a sign. I mean, you have 12 houses in a chart, right? That's the 12 zodiac signs. You have 12 of them. So a circle is 360 degrees. 12 divided by 360 is 30 degrees per sign, right? So each house is 30 degrees. It goes from 0 to 29, right? So just like how you have each of them supposed to represent a period of a month, You have 30 days in a month, roughly 30 days in a month. You have 30 degrees in a sign, basically. So your rising sign is the sign that basically is at the eastern horizon at the time of your birth, right? The rising sign shifts every 2 hours. So even you and somebody could be born on the same day. Y'all have you and them born 5 hours apart. Y'all gonna have a totally different chart. You're gonna have similar planetary placements, but those placements going to be different in different areas of your chart, depending on the time of it, right? So let's say, for instance, me, I'm a Cancer rising, right? So that means my first house is in my chart begins in Cancer. So even though I'm an Aquarius sun, I'm gonna have Aquarius-like personality traits that I aspire to show out into the world, right? Like being knowledgeable, bringing people together, because Aquarius rules knowledge, information, and groups and stuff like that. Groups and not partnerships, but basically groups, right? But even though I have those Aquarius tendencies that I aim to display in the world, deep inside, I kind of carry myself in a Cancer-like way, where I want to nurture people. I might be kind of like in a shell to myself. I retreat to myself to kind of recover and those kind of things. I could probably be a little bit clingy in some cases, or I could be like, like I said, I retreat to myself. But that's one aspect. That's the first house, right? The second house would be the second sign that follows Cancer, which would be Leo, because in the zodiac cycle, it starts Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and it goes on. So my second house would be Leo. My third house would be the sign that follows Leo, which would be Virgo. My fourth house would be Libra, and it just goes on and on. So if you ever really want to know and understand your astrology, you need to pull up your entire chart.
So why did you stop doing the tarot readings and educating us on this type of stuff? Because it's interesting.
You ain't hear how much things I don't tell you how to do.
I was going to say, well, you just said that 24 hours ain't the same.
So clearly,
no, man. But honestly, I used to do tarot. Like I tell you, I started with tarot readings at one point in time, right? And even that is like another story that I love to tell, how I even started doing tarot readings. To make a long story short, I went South Africa. I did a tarot reading there, and the woman told me I should start doing tarot readings. So I started doing, and maybe one of these days I could give you a longer explanation of that.
Yeah, you need to read that one. We gotta do it live though, because unravel behavior. We need to get some statistics behind it. Yeah.
That happen. That ain't a hard thing at all. But I started doing tarot, and in learning and understanding tarot, I learned that astrology is baked into tarot. So to better understand tarot, I started studying astrology. And one of my things has always been to know thyself, right? That's actually a tattoo I have, right? So in better aiming to understand tarot, I started studying astrology. And in me starting to study astrology, that's when I started to see a lot of relevance in my astrological chart and actual experiences that I had in my life. And I started actually looking at people around me and seeing the relevance in the things that I was learning, and the personality traits and behaviors that I was seeing people around me actually exhibit.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm interested. I wouldn't mind doing a live tarot reading. That would be a good little episode.
Hey, we can make it happen. Hey, when I ready is when you ready. Listen, right? I only need 4 hours of sleeping. Just in case you didn't know.
This is what I do between 6 and 8 on the weekend. I see you only need 4 hours of sleep. You can come on whenever. Damn. If we didn't have somebody for Sunday, maybe you could come for the first half. What do you think?
Why not?
If you're available for the first hour, 4 to 5 on Sunday, you could come through. You could.
Sunday, no? Sunday.
You know that man busy. You know how much job he just say he has?
What he say is when I ready. That's what the man just tell me.
Right, he did.
Yeah. I didn't expect you to say Sunday, man.
He need to check his calendar. Check your calendar and get back to him. Get back to him.
Yeah. Let me know. We can work something out definitely.
So what days? What's other than Sunday? What's the next day that you gonna be live?
We try for Monday through Thursday.
Monday to Thursday.
Same times like
we could do Thursday again. Because I usually the coach Monday to Wednesday, and we don't get off until about 8 o'clock. I don't get home until about 8 o'clock. So that'd be kind of tight. So Thursday would probably be the best day.
Yeah, we need a live reading of the sun, and we need the sun and risings and all of that there for both of us.
Well, if you want, well, I'm gonna tell you, if you want to do that, well, we could do the sun, moon, and rising. Just keep it at that, because to do a full chart reading, that's gonna be too extensive to do within like an hour for two people. One, and then if I'm gonna do that reaction, I need some information from you guys. So, but we'll talk about that then.
Yeah, I don't know what time at night I was born, or not. I don't know how deep it'll get.
Yeah, well, if you don't know your time, then I can't.
Listen, I know that Caribbean parents are very secretive. True. I did not know I was spelling my name wrong until I was 17 years old, because my mother hid that information for me. You think she gonna tell me what time I was born?
Wait, what did you find out when you were 17?
You saying
I was spelling my name incorrectly for that part of my life, because I didn't find out until I was joining the military, and my mother upped my paperwork, because she had to, that this is how you actually spell my name.
Wow.
But you know, you can't get on that bed to get a birth paper. That's theirs until they're ready.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. But no, I mean, if you don't know your birth time, I could still give you a lot of like relevant information just by pulling up your chart in general. That'd be dope. Yeah, that'd be dope.
Right. People want their signs right. People want to know stuff.
That's dope. There's interest. I don't want to put nothing else on your plate, but I'm just saying there's interest.
I mean, hey, listen, Ray, we could just put it on the calendar and we'll just make it happen. We'll see how long we can make it a consistent. We can make it a consistent thing. We'll see. But I ain't got a problem with that.
One thing we need to get is getting calls. That when that's solved, I think we good. If we can figure out how to take calls, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I get you. Well, how I used to do it, I just used to do it through comments, and I mean, basically people will comment and request a reading, and I will do like a free reading.
There you go.
Hey, Jackie is my dog,
You buy God butter, you get a reading. So it's not a free reading, but you'll get God butter and a reading. You'll know why you act the way you do, why you can't listen to people. You'll figure it out.
Hey, why not? But before I go, because we only down for like an hour, right? So I know we kind of running short.
But that's you.
Oh, okay, all right. Because I got at night, I only need 4 hours.
This is our show, but yeah.
Okay, cool. But I kind of like, me personally, I've always been a person that want to aim to like understand people. And I think that stemmed ultimately from being in situations where I was kind of like manipulated, taken advantage of, or like had the wool pull over my eye. So, you want to kind of learn to like read people so you could predict these things or anticipate these things, see them coming, So I've always been interested in even before I started doing tarot readings, I kind of read little books about palmistry, I kind of learn a little bit about face reading, that kind of different things, so with that, I kind of came, I guess with all of that foundation in mind, I kind of came up with like a personality assessment or gauge based on your favorite tart.
Oh God! Here we go. Let's get into it.
Here we go.
So you heard a tarot reading. This man does tart reading. So let's get into it.
Right.
So explain. So I is a guava dude. Talk to me. What's wrong with me?
Well, I won't say is anything wrong. You know what I mean? There's no such thing. There's no such thing as right or wrong. People just are who they are. You know what I mean? But it turns out, I find that you have people. I mean, naturally, just like how certain astrological signs and zodiac signs have similar personality traits. Certain people who have certain type preference tend to have similar personality traits from what I have grown to believe and I feel I've seen, exhibited in the community. Prime example, people who are guava, who love guava tarts, they tend to be like extravagant individuals. They have to be seen, they have to be heard, they have to be like, they have to stand out. You know what I mean? I think a good zodiac sign that I would associate with guava would be Leo, right? Because Leo is Leo is ruled by the sun, right? Leo is the sign of the actor and the actress, the stage performer, somebody that's in the spotlight. So I find that guava people tend to be people who, again, they carry themselves in a way that they naturally draw attention to themselves. Either they're well dressed, they're naturally attractive, or something of that nature. Okay. Coconut people, on the other hand, tend to be very direct, very somewhat practical, and even to some degree abrasive. You know what I mean? Aggressive and assertive. They're very raw and to the point. I
coming up with this just out the air just right now, but go ahead.
Pineapple, on the other hand, which pineapple tend to be more like reserved individual, cool, casual individuals. We sweet and we nice, you know what I mean? To ourselves, peaceful. You don't hear pineapple people generally going on with a whole lot. We don't go on with a lot because we have to stand out and represent for our team, right? But generally, pineapple people is the coolest and sweetest individuals you'll ever meet. Tell me like,
and delusional.
No. And top of that, as you want to talk about delusional, right? We're gonna big up another we'll call it another podcast right now. Yeah, no about Caribbean currency, right?
Yeah.
They do the interviews, and one of the things one of the biggest thing is what's your favorite tart? And all of the great VIP people that they interview, majority of them is pineapple lovers, right? If you want to talk about Tyran Thomas, is a pineapple lover. If you want to talk about Pressure, is a pineapple lover. If you want to talk about Kenneth Mack, that's a pineapple lover. If you want to talk about Claude Vialet, that's a pineapple lover.
Your whole your assessment is off with the names that you listed though. Tyran sound like a pineapple giving your assessment.
You just it's so funny, right? I was just watching a what you call it, an interview with Tyran where he was saying people think he's the aggressive and direct one when he is actually the other way around, where his brother is the more aggressive one and he's the sweet one.
Tyran, my name is Tyran. Call me Tyran. My mother name is Tyran. Is the
He's not. He's not lying. Tyran. So the Tyran that we see, you know what it remind me of, John? Me and my sister. Like I will say stuff and I will be like, yeah. But when stuff about to pop up, she don't jump over my shoulder and the whole thing set up. Like that's his brother. His brother will be like, what happening? His brother will be the one to be like.
But isn't that?
I would be like, nah. I would be like, nah, man, we cool. Like they argue like we good.
See, I'm confused. Okay, hold on. See, I'm confused because when you assess guava, right? You said that those are the ones that like to be in the spotlight and they attract people and all of that. Which that sounds like Tyran. Like,
yeah.
that sounds like him. The other one is very reserved. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that sits in the background until it's time to pop off. That's reserved.
I give you that, but at the same time, he could be very direct as well. If you listen to his music, the man very direct in his music, though.
Yeah.
He's the one that could pop off in his music. And if you notice,
what's the Virgin Islands and this one that's got T-Ran? That one?
that one.
Like, I have yet to even hear his brother talk about, like, anyway, you know. I don't know.
Remember, T-Ran is a spokesman, you know what I mean? So somebody got to be the spokesman.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that don't line up with the assessment. That's okay. Let me say this: your assessment, right? Initially, it felt like you were talking about us directly for real. I'll give you that. But now, when you throw in these names like Pineapple for T-Rod and like Pressure, I can see.
You have to remember. The personality that you see on TV is not always the true personality, you know. That's just the character. That's the persona that they put out there, you know, when needs to be. But that's not necessarily who they are 24/7. Not saying that T-Ran ain't a talkative, playful, and jovial individual, because obviously he is. You know what I mean? But when you see him, he himself has said it, behind closed doors, he ain't the type of person to carry on and go on bad with you. He's the one to try. He's the diplomat. His brother is the one that will rough you up and tell you about yourself.
I guess we understand those terms differently, right? Because like reserved to me is the one that doesn't go on with rah-rah. You know what I mean? Like you won't see that other side until it's time.
None of the names he called matches the Pineapple description.
But I mean, if you think about it,
Pressure, Pressure does.
Okay, Pressure, that's what I was just about to say. Pressure does. I guess Map wouldn't, Map definitely.
Well, absolutely not.
Map?
Absolutely not.
Map is Pineapple? The story done.
The story
done.
Ryan, Govey is one.
That's what I was just about to say. If we're talking about Brian, it definitely don't fit. It definitely don't fit. But
it don't fit Map either.
Exactly, I agree. But remember, there are always exceptions to the rule.
Your whole list is an exception.
You're the one to stick them.
Is an exception.
You're the one to stick them.
That's not true, because again, we already discussed pressure. Pressure strike you as a based on that description. Pressure, right? We already talked about
pressure. Is he's just not loud. The pressure. He's not a loud person like how they would be. But when he speaks, he's very direct. He stands like he's very there, but he's not there to like be, you know, not like
but it's not
whatever. But
it's not to say that a Pineapple person can't be direct, you know what I mean? But they ain't gonna be as abrasive and aggressive and assertive about being direct.
Yeah, Pressure isn't aggressive. I agree.
As a coconut person.
I mean, if we want to talk about coconut, look at, and we're talking about people being direct like coconut. Look at Pass, right? Prime example, perfect example, Pass.
Pass Grande.
Pass, yeah. Perfect example of a coconut. You know, Pass the man and the MC for Tatwaris.
I didn't know who the person was. Oh, the guy with the locks? Is it locks?
Yeah.
Very tall dude.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. Sorry.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
At the end of the day, you see, you understand the personality. You've been to Tatwaris. Okay, that's a coconut right there, right? That's one. And then look at, move your hand, Kilo. Come on. No more. I don't think you could get more coconut than them two. You know what I mean?
And
look at what her name, Nikki Brooks. Loud, abrasive, assertive, direct. I mean, you don't get more coconut than that. You know what I mean? What you call it? Guava people gonna go out with a Latin. But guava people ain't gonna go and bad like coconut people. Coconut people gonna burn down the place.
People you got questions.
Let's not even talk about guava berry. I mean,
this is a wild assessment.
What you mean?
I honestly can't give an assessment about guava berry people because I don't know that. I really don't
they're like the Amazonian people. They just we know they exist, but they're in a remote place where they don't film cameras and have current technology and stuff.
Oh. And another thing I want to talk about, right? As we're talking about tax, right? Remember, it makes sense that majority of people in the Virgin Islands like coconut and guava. It makes a lot of sense. You know why? Because coconut and guava are way more common than pineapple, right? Meaning that you get a coconut tree bearing fruit every 2 to 3 weeks, which is why you see in our culture we have coconut tart, coconut dumpling, coconut bread, coconut drop, coconut everything, right? Guava, on the other hand, I think they bear twice a year. Twice a year, the guava tree is the bear. I can't tell you the exact years, but it's twice a year guava tree is the bear. You know how long you gotta wait for pineapple to bear? You gotta wait a year to 2 years for pineapple to bear, right? Okay. So, with that said, pineapple is way more rare than all the rest. So because it's more rare, not everybody would have had as much opportunity to actually enjoy and develop a taste and a love for pineapple than they would for guava and coconut. That makes sense?
No, it's just a nasty talk. Nobody don't like it. Anyway.
I could say what I want. I is an Aquarius. I am the reader and I understand people.
I don't know.
If you want to be part of the royal team, you just got one goal.
He recruited. The fact that you have to recruit is crazy.
Again, pineapple is the only fruit with a crown in it. So what does that say?
It also grows upside down, but okay.
After pineapple will grow upside down. You ever see an upside down pineapple tree?
How do you plant it and how does it come up?
If you basically cut the top off the pineapple and plant it in the ground, it's gonna just grow up. So how is that upside down? If you cut an onion and put it in the ground, it ain't gonna grow up. Just the same.
You put it in the ground, right?
Yeah.
Does not the pineapple grow? How did pineapple come up? From the
pineapple tree. The pineapple plant actually grows up, and then the stalk of the pineapple tree grows up to the middle of the pineapple.
The fruit that you eat when it comes up, which way is it facing?
Up.
Up.
Okay, but the part that you planted, okay. Coconut trees have a crown too, do they?
What? No, Jesse, just You're reaching now. Every tree, if that's the case, every tree have a crown.
I know, like, you had me in the first half, but the more we dive into this thing, right? The more we dive into this thing, it's shaking my faith in your theory, man. Like when you was listing all those pineapple people, and I'm like, what the? None of those people fit.
I don't know if I would agree with that, because again, like I say, right? We could say pressure and Viale for sure.
How many people did you list?
I list 5. I list 5.
I'm 2 out of 5. Right? Okay.
No, wait. 2 out of the 5 for sure, right? Then, what's his name? Tyran has been recorded himself saying that he is not the outspoken and like aggressive direct person. That's the persona that he puts out there, but that's not how he carries himself. I like.
Here's the thing. I don't take people at their word when they describe themselves. Let me hear it from people that know you the best. I don't like, because every instance, I mean, from Clubhouse audio and everything, that's him. You get what I'm saying? So either he's always on, or we just don't know who we talking to at all. You know what I'm saying? It's a completely different person then, because his music when he was in Clubhouse, his Facebook, like when he's online and he just chatting, like it's always that guy. So somebody wrong.
I got you with that.
So GRC is true. According to AI, coconut trees do have crowns.
Oh
wow. Okay. So what's the crown of the coconut tree? The top of the tree?
It says, yes, coconut trees do have crowns. The crowns are made up of the leaves at the top of their trunk. This crown is made up of a large feathery fronds that emerge from the top of the trunk.
Okay, so a mahogany tree don't have a crown too?
What?
I mean, I could look it up for you.
What?
It's a crown like mixing a crown and canopy. I want to believe it's a crown. They refer to the top of a tree as a crown. If I'm mistaken, maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I reach in.
No, it's canopy. The leaf them. You said the leaf them. They look like a crown.
Yeah. You learn something new every day.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have no like theory at all for guava berry at all.
Nope, and I don't want to make up anything. Like I said, I only honestly I only know one guava berry lover, and I'll just say this man is kind of eccentric, you know. So that's I can't make an assessment of a one person, you know. That wouldn't be fair, you know. But like I said, take what I tell you, right? Take what I tell you, and you go in your life and look around and observe the people that you know that are pineapple lovers, guava lovers, and coconut lovers, and see if their behaviors and characteristics with the majority of people that you meet that love these tarts actually match what I described. You see for yourself and you learn.
All right, chat. People in the comments, tell us what you think about his theory on the tarts and their personalities. Can you run it back one more time? Tell us in the chat if you agree, or has that been your experience? But can you run us through that personality tart chart one more time?
So coconut, loud, direct, aggressive, assertive, practical, hands-on types of individuals. Guava, attractive, well-dressed, and not to say the rest ain't necessarily well-dressed, and not to say that the rest ain't attractive, but like the pretty boys and the pretty girls, the queens and them kind of stuff, guava people, right? Want to be seen, want to be heard, but not like a tyrann kind of want to be seen and heard, but it's like a way that just carry themselves in a way that naturally attracts energy and attention through the way they dress, the way they speak. They speak with a certain kind of flair. I won't say elegance, but with a certain flair to them, right? They carry themselves with a certain charisma, right? Very charismatic kind of energies. That's what I would associate. Well-dressed, charismatic, and like to be seen and heard. That's the personality trait, the one trait that I could associate with guava. And then pineapple, quiet, sweet, compassionate, considerate, those kind of energies that I would associate with pineapple personality.
Do these have negative traits also, or no? That's just what it is.
Well, to be honest, I really thought that far about the negatives and positives. I just thought about. I only going based off of what I've seen from the people that I've crossed.
From this description, coconut is a ghetto of the bunch. That's really crazy.
Coconut is the fireborn people. No, but I mean, we need. Hey, listen, right? We need everybody. You know, every personality trait. Right, because again, you can't have a revolution without the coconut people. That's the reality. The coconut people them days, the
wild.
Jerica is a coconut fireball type for real, you know.
Jerica is Miss Fireball herself.
See?
Every time, every Sunday, she said she fireballing something.
See? So
Akeem, to answer the question, the mahogany tree do have crowns. Specifically, they are known for having rounded, symmetrical crowns. The crowns are a key feature of the tree's overall shape and contributes to its sustainability as a shade tree.
But I think if I'm mistaken, and I mean I could be wrong, right? But I thought like every tree generally has a crown, which refers to like the canopy, top portion of the tree. You know what I mean? So to me, I won't necessarily rate that as like royalty, because that's something that's standard to all trees. You know what I mean? And technically, we're talking about the tree, we're talking about the fruit. You check? But I ain't gonna say that there, because then you could turn around and say, we talking about the fruit, we talking about the tart. So I'm gonna just leave that alone.
So you touched on a bunch of topics today. We touched on a bunch of topics. I don't want to let you go without you explaining first this real quick. Restoration oil. Can you talk about restoration oil? So,
like I tell you, whenever I'm doing certain things, I kind of like to get deep or well-rounded understanding, or as good of an understanding as I can get about it before I kind of dive into it, right? And I wanted to learn about, like, I wanted to make a hair oil that would help to like fight hair loss and promote hair growth. So in order to understand how to create a formulation or to formulate something that would address those issues, I have to kind of get an understanding of the causes of some of those issues in both male and females. And two of the things that I found or learned tend to be very significant contributors to hair loss in men and females is DHT and inflammation of the scalp, right? DHT is a hormone that our bodies begin to produce over time, to actually just to help to continue, like, for men, it helps with like certain reproductive needs that our body has ultimately. But it also is produced in women as well as a form of testosterone, right? But ultimately, what happens with DHT is that it actually causes damage to the hair follicles over time and causes the hair follicles to shrink, which makes it unable to actually sustain the hair itself, causing the hair to fall out over time, right? So you want to what I found in my research is that there's certain natural herbs and products, or well, not products, but different natural herbs and oils that help to like curb the production of DHT. Things that have been found to actually help is stinging nettle root, or we know as stinger nettle, pumpkin seed oil, and saw palmetto. Saw palmetto in particular has been found to actually have as much, or well, not as much, but in kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say, I guess because there's similar results to that of finasteride over a period of time of extended use, right? So in that, with that knowledge in mind, I thought to myself, okay, well, let's formulate something where I basically combine all three of these products or all three of these items or ingredients together to make one product. But again, whenever you're addressing a certain issue, you can't just address one thing, or I personally don't believe in using one particular magic ingredient to resolve an issue. It's always a combination of a number of things that help to resolve an issue. And like I said, it's not just about addressing the DHT production, but also addressing the issue of inflammation in the scalp. A lot of times we have issues with inflammation in our scalp, whether it's like due to dry scalp or a number of different issues. And what I found is that you could use there's a lot of essential oils that help to address or quell inflammation in the scalp, like eucalyptus, basil, rosemary. Anybody who knows anything about hair knows that rosemary is great for the hair. But one of the things that it's great with is actually it's an anti-inflammatory oil, but it also helps to promote blood circulation in the scalp. So a number of things that help to promote blood circulation in the scalp is eucalyptus, peppermint, rosemary, and tea tree. These same oils also are antibacterial, antifungal, antiseptic. So they help to cleanse the scalp of bacteria and impurities so that the scalp actually can breathe. But also, like I said, it helps to promote blood circulation, and more blood circulation in the scalp naturally helps to stimulate hair growth. In addition to that, you also want to add, I also decided to add different things that help to strengthen the hair in general, to thicken the hair, things like argan oil, castor oil, avocado oil. You know, all of these things are very moisturizing for the hair, nourishing for the scalp, and helps to just produce a healthy scalp overall. You know, so by combining all of these different ingredients, I basically came up with this oil that I call a hair restoration oil, and it helps. I've had people come and tell me like the edges growing back, but I also had somebody come and tell me, which I didn't, and this that happened to me all the time, where people would come and tell me about how my products help them in ways that was unintended, right? So I had, just when it was probably Friday or Saturday last week, a customer came to buy another oil, and she was telling me that she went to the States and she forgot her oil home, and she had like significant like psoriasis of the scalp, and by using the oil it actually helped to quell the psoriasis, or bring it under control basically. And it wasn't like to say that was the first time that she used it. This is something that she actually been doing for a number of months, or ever since she started using the oil. It's just this the first time we had the opportunity to have that conversation where she would let me know that it works for psoriasis of the scalp. You know what I mean? But like I said, I didn't make it for that particular use, but it turned out to be an additional benefit. It's just like the lemongrass body butter. My lemongrass body butter has lemongrass, but it also has a number of other essential oils like eucalyptus, peppermint, rosemary, camphor. And you know, I've had customers who, I made it initially to repel mosquitoes, but I had customers come and tell me that it helped them with like the sinuses, you know, whenever they got stuffy or itchy nose, or they got coughing and stuff like that, they rub it on the throat like they use in Vicks and stuff like that, and it helped to ease them at the same time. You know, so when people told me that, I'm like, why I didn't think about that myself, because I myself suffer with like allergies where every now and again my sinuses will act up, my nose would itch me and stuff like that. So when I had that conversation with a customer, I said, well, okay, next time my sinus is acting up, I will try it. And you know, now whenever like my sinus acting up, I rub a little bit of either the lemongrass oil or the lemongrass body butter on my nose, and that resolved my issues one time. You know, within 2 to 3 minutes, I good again. You know what I mean? So, you know, like I said in the beginning, I always have to give thanks that I had the inspiration to actually make these products, but I also have to give thanks that, you know, the products actually turn out to be beneficial to the people that use them, and I give thanks for the people who use them and continue to support me, because at the end of the day, I wouldn't even be able to live my life on my terms if it wasn't for the people at the Virgin Islands and the people that were supporting me and my business. So I give thanks.
Sure.
Woo. Woo.
And just remember, it's a pineapple now.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
We don't. I used to think they're the ones that don't start nothing, and they sure. So you're not just known in the VI though. You also just recently were invited to Trinidad for VIEDA. Can you tell us about that? How was your experience? Like, what is VIEDA?
So before I do that, I definitely want to tell you this story, because I'm a person, I consider myself to be a very spiritual person, and I consider things, I don't believe in coincidences. Everything is like that sign or synchronicity, right? And the reason I bring this up is because I want to show you how things fall in place when you follow the path that you're meant to follow, right? I used to work for the National Park Service. I worked for the National Park Service from 2020 to 2022, right? While I was working for the National Park Service, at some point I decided that I wanted to leave my job. So I had to figure out how I was going to sustain myself off of my business. While I was working, this was a decision that I made in October of 2021. By November, I was a cruise ship vendor. By December, I was a vendor in the local market. And then in May of 2022, I did ad fair for the first time. This was the first ad fair after COVID. did Ag Fair for the first time, and I made 2 months salary in 3 days. And from that, I went back to work the following Tuesday. I submit my resignation on June 1st. Sorry, I submit my resignation on June 1st. My last day of work was the 15th. My first day is at that time, a couple months prior, I was invited to be a part of the Emancipation Commemoration Committee. And I submitted my resignation on June 1st. And June 1st, this was a conversation, this committee thing was a conversation from like March or February. I submit my resignation on June 1st of 2022. June 1st is when Carol Borg called me and was like, yeah, we're ready to get things going with the committee, right? So she needed my information. My last day of work was June 15th. My first meeting with the committee was June 16th, right? While I was on that committee, I served on a subcommittee with what's his name eluding me right now? Senator Myron Jackson, right? I served on a subcommittee with Senator Myron Jackson. One of my colleagues on the subcommittee was a lady named Nadine Marchena Ken, right? Nadine actually works for the VIED, and that's ultimately how I ended up meeting Nadine and how I ended up making my connection with the VIED in the first place. But I say that to say, if I had not followed my heart and my mind and left the Park Service, I wouldn't have been able to be a part of the committee. I wouldn't have been able to be a part to meet Nadine, to connect with VIEDA, and I wouldn't have been able to go to 2 trade shows, New York Now and TIC in Trinidad, right? So I say all of that to say, like, you know, when you have like a feeling of that, or like a calling in your heart and in your mind, follow that, even as fearful and as doubtful as you might be, and as fearful as people around you might be for you. They care about you, but ultimately their fear isn't necessarily yours to carry. You know what I mean? But yeah, you just gotta push and follow through with your own things. And I mean, there will be challenges and difficulties, but I guarantee you things gonna fall in place for you as long as you follow your heart and follow your path. There are lessons and obstacles for you to learn, but you definitely gonna get where you need to go as long as you follow your heart all the time. That would always be my message. Follow your heart, follow your path. You know, I forgot the question that was talking about VIEDA. So that's basically how I came into contact with the VIEDA, and that's how I ended up in Trinidad this year for the trade show or the convention in Trinidad. That was a cool experience. It was a cool experience. You know, I got an opportunity to travel with a number of other Virgin Islands businesses from the Virgin Islands, and we were able to, you know, coordinate and network with each other, right? But also we were able to meet a lot of other people from Trinidad and all over the world, basically to promote our businesses, promote our products, and also learn different ways that we could continue. So, well, for those of you who don't know, I see the question. For those of you who don't know, TIC stands for Trade and Investment Convention. It's a convention which I think is actually the largest convention of its kind in the Caribbean, where that brings together vendors and buyers to actually promote and sell products wholesale, basically. So the goal of the trip was for us as vendors to actually attempt to get wholesale buyers in Trinidad to take on our products. And you know, unfortunately, one of the things that we all kind of didn't do that would have made the trip so much better, but we thought it would have been so much more difficult to bring product in directly into the country. We didn't work with significant amounts of product to actually sell, because we thought there would have been a lot more like challenge and difficulties with actually coming into the country with products to make money off of the country, you know. But if we did, a lot of us would have did well, because a lot of us had actually had like people constantly wanting to buy, but we weren't able to sell until the last day. And for us in particular, we were trying to sell. We wasn't trying to sell till like the last couple hours of the last day, because then we wouldn't have no display. to continue to promote our products, But all in all, it was a good experience because, like I said, we got to make contact with different businesses in Trinidad and, different organizations that would help us to kind of expand our businesses and our brand and promote the Virgin Islands even further. As a matter of fact, one of the things that they were actually promoting, which was something that you had shared earlier, Ja, was the South Shore Trade Zone, right? Which is basically the entire south side of St. Croix in particular. Well, I'm not sure if it's just St. Croix. I think there's also like trade zones in St. Thomas and St. John too. But when we were over there, they were more like promoting the South Shore Trade Zone, particularly, and St. Croix, and which is basically like an area of the island where you could do in industry, or you could have like industrial kind of like businesses to mass produce items and products and get significant tax breaks basically. But in doing so, naturally it attracts more business to the territory and more like jobs and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, one of the few local businesses that has been able to capitalize on that so far is In the Mix, and the lady for In the Mix, Cherise, she was actually with us in Trinidad selling her beignet mix. I don't know if you all ever had a beignet. Okay, well, she was selling. She has like a pre-made beignet mix, and she was in Trinidad promoting her beignet mix, and that was a hit. That was actually one of the biggest reasons why we had like constant traffic in our booth.
That's dope.
So yeah, the VI doing big things, man.
That's Mama Cakes. That's my girl, Mama Cakes, Sharice.
I hate that we don't get the promotion that is necessary. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't if I didn't see it on your page, I don't know where I would have seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And I mean, also that's something that we as a people have to like figure out, how to improve better like marketing and promoting ourselves individually, but also ourselves collectively. And definitely another thing we gotta work on, this is kind of like a bit off topic, but still within topic, is customer service in the Virgin Islands, man.
For sure.
These businesses to answer your phones, answer your phones. What?
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good, how can I help
Do
you
you
today?
think training would matter?
I don't know if it's just training. I really don't know if it's just a simple matter of training, because I mean, I could train a dog to catch a frisbee, but if I don't throw the frisbee, you know what I mean? If the dog ain't gonna catch a frisbee. That's probably a bad example. But I mean, you could train somebody to do something, but if you're not there to enforce it and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do, they're gonna do what they want to do anyway. You know what I mean? So there has to have some level of training, of course, but it also has to be some level of like enforcement and repercussion for poor behavior and poor customer service. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, say for instance, I had a conversation with someone one time where they were saying that how she used to do like undercover taxi rides with tours with certain taxi man in St. Thomas, just to make sure that these men actually like telling the history and the information correctly. She said one time she was on a safari with a tour, and the taxi man pull up wherever he pull up and he point to Water Island, and he said, "You see that island over there? That's St. Lucia. So make sure whenever you come in, you want to come back again, make sure you catch a flight straight to St. Lucia."
What?
I said, well, yeah, that's what she said. She hear, you know what I mean? And I thought that was very interesting. It's kind of crazy that somebody would do that, but I mean, you gotta push your island.
Yeah.
But point being, if most people, if they don't have somebody like looking over their shoulder or keeping tabs on them, most people will just do whatever they want to do. So it's not, I won't say it's just a matter of training. Training is essential, but I mean, at the same time, we all know what good customer service is, right? We all know how we're supposed to behave and carry out. It's just people choose to do what they want to do, and if they don't have no repercussions, then people are gonna just continue to do what they're supposed to do. If you get pulled over and they see you don't have have on your seatbelt and they say, oh, just have a good day, go about your business, you won't ever feel compelled to wear your seatbelt. But when they slap you a ticket, you're gonna find your seatbelt quick. You know what I mean? So yeah, click it or take it.
There's actually a few organizations that does customer service training, but it's more of the hospitality industry, and they actually give you a ranking in terms of how you did for your service, and it's on their global website. And so anybody who uses this can just go in and see like where you rank in terms of service to decide. And so I do agree, service alone isn't enough, and there should be accountability. But I don't trust that accountability should just lie with us directly. It needs to be with the reputable person that does the service. So
I agree.
There are businesses that do it and will be like, hey, you're not keeping yourself up to par. They do what you just said. They send people in randomly to test the service, to see how it's performing, to grade the service, and so to see if you can maintain your standard or not, and so on and so forth. So it is a good idea, and we should definitely start to, if you want to improve tourism and so on and so forth and different things, hospitality definitely needs to be certified training that people are performing that can be measured. But again, some people could be trained and they could still mess up your business too as well. So
and that's where like you said, a neutral party would come in and do random assessments to make sure
correct.
What is
yes.
I think a part of it too is we have there's a culture. Like, I know the word gets slung around often of culture. This is our culture, but in communities and corporations and organizations, there can be a culture there too, right? And in the Caribbean, there's a culture of lackadaisicalness and like just talking to people any kind of way. So we actually gotta get under that too. Like, we gotta get to the root of that culture in these
again
places.
I don't know if I agree with that. I agree with that, because you have people who, like what they say, monkey know a tree to climb, right? You have people who are naturally abrasive individuals, but when they buck up on the right person, they don't humble themselves. You check. So it's just a matter of you establishing the proper culture within your organization. You know what I mean? You set the standard of what is acceptable and what is unacceptable, and you be firm in doling out repercussions for people who violate your policies. That's all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just feel like that's the only way to condition people to do what they're supposed to do.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like, I'm on the page with you, but you can't deny that places like Waffle House and Popeyes, you expect a certain lack of good customer service there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a culture there that you need to deal with.
Okay, I see what you're saying. When you said culture, I was thinking about culture in the Virgin Islands. That's what I was thinking of. But you talking about culture within these different businesses.
Yes.
I got you.
Yeah, there's cultures in certain organizations and corporations and companies that need to deal with.
That's right.
Listen, any DMV,
I don't think every time that conversation come up, the DMV or BMV is always the first agency to get called.
It's true though.
But I've had great experiences the last few years with ours. They've been trash, but the last few years, thank God, I've had great service.
Well, I generally have decent service because I got family who don't work there, you know what I mean? So I did deal with family and they did deal with me. You see, now I know who to call.
Right. You gotta go.
I always hear people complain about the DMV. I don't understand why.
There's a culture, and that's not just the Caribbean. That's any DMV. You don't expect.
Yeah, they get all the bad rep.
DMV customer service insane. Really? That's good news.
Awesome.
Outstanding
is a big word to use. So that must be great.
Damn.
So it's only saying I need to up the game, man.
I haven't had that experience with them. That's good.
But
overall, overall DMVs and BMV, they have a bad name, like overall. Yeah. So we just kind of expect it. But if you get good service, then you're extra happy. Like what? So that's dope. Thomas doing it. Damn, I gotta hear more about that.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good.
Can you tell the people how they can find you? How can they shop? You know what I'm saying? How can they get them some God butter and follow you and your socials and all of that?
Well, you could definitely find me on Facebook, VibezNatural, VibezNatural340 on Instagram, and I'm on Etsy as well. Just look up God Butter or VibezNatural on Etsy. You could purchase, you could place your orders there, and I'm currently working on my website, VibezNatural.com. So you'll definitely be able to order from me directly. Otherwise, for now, if you don't have Etsy or you don't want to buy Etsy, you could always link me on Facebook, and we could coordinate the details from there. VibezNatural on Facebook, VibezNatural340 on Instagram.
All right, Nisi, unless you have another question for him before we go to get into the final word.
I don't have a question, but I do want to, in the spirit of my birthday coming and Virgo season, I would like to raffle a God's butter to somewhat to our people, as same different people. So I don't know if you want to do like a post, or you want to do like a name thing, or pull a name, whatever we're gonna do. But I would like to raffle. I need somebody but they can't be one of our hardcore. I want somebody to experience, the product.
Yeah. So Jerica, you're disqualified automatically.
Yeah, she disqualified. Jerica don't win anyway, so she just has to be disqualified, period. Love you, Jerica. Just say. But
if you are ready
to do something like that.
Say that again.
If you already tried God butter before you're disqualified.
Okay, so that's the disclaimer. There it is.
The man make the rule, and that's the rule. When I come and says we, Akeem say that's the rule.
Well, you could send your family, and then you could take it from them.
No, we didn't tell them how to cheat. If they know how to cheat, they should, but we tell them how to do it.
So be on the lookout for that raffle. We'll be raffling off a God butter courtesy of Crucian Girl Nisi. You buying the big one, or what you do?
It depends. We could do a big one. We could do the small one with the oil. Like
he said no.
He said no, not the big one.
He said no.
What I like to do is I like to give them a number of like the smaller jars, so that way they have an opportunity to sample multiple fragrances and determine which one they prefer. So you get a full God butter experience.
So you have
that's what we're doing.
So you have like a God butter flight type of thing, like you have samples, or what you got?
Yeah, well, you mean right now?
No, like, do you have that kind of thing available, like for sale? Or?
Oh, no. Well. I recently I've been selling like what I call butter bits. Basically, it looked like a little lip balm jar, where it's small enough for you to keep in your bag. When you wash your hands, or keep at your desk. When you wash your hand and you just need to lotion up.
Why don't have these things?
Don't worry, I got you covered. That will be that.
I kind of feel like a regular,
No man, I got you covered. I just don't see you as a athlete. That's all it is, man.
I'm boy suffering from success.
Like you said,
and I am so grateful to hear that. I am.
A little bit goes a long way, so you ain't got reason to come and see me every week or every other day.
I don't do, because when people come visit, they'll go in my jar them, and I don't have to just keep one stash in hiding somewhere, and that'll be my problem. I gotta hide my jar when people come.
And I love when people tell me that. I love when people tell me that, because people tell me so all the time. They let a friend or their cousin or their mother try it. Next thing you know, the jar just disappeared.
Yeah.
So people.
I'm gonna set aside a special little gift set for you, man.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So we'll be raffling off a God butter. Be on the lookout for that. And next Thursday is Tarot Thursday. So Akeem is going to read Me and Nisi, if we have enough time, most likely mine's for sure, because she want to hear what my issue is. Maybe it's more
I
than
need to
just mommy
validate what
issues.
I think is true as truth. You know,
We're gonna
I need
find
the
out. We
data.
know about the mommy issues. We want to see what the rest of it is. All right. So he's gonna be reading my tarot reading. We tried the tarot reading. We're gonna try the tarot reading next Thursday, 8 p.m. Unless something changes. And then Sunday a different day with Ja and Nisi. We have Jassy O'Clock coming in 5 o'clock. 5 to 6, he'll be in the studio when we live streaming. So you pay attention to that. Check out for that there. The promo coming up soon. Final words. What do you want to leave the good people watching the show with?
Hey, I already said it before, man. Follow your heart and follow your path. Don't let nobody talk you out of what you feel in your heart. You know, don't let nobody discourage you. If you feel strongly for something and this is what you feel called to do, just do it. You know what I mean? Learn the lessons necessary and grow and move forward. Keep moving forward. What is that? Forward, ever, backward, never.
Nice. Nisi, what's your final words?
I just want to say, Akeem, thanks for coming on, for sharing your products with us, and for giving us some insight into who you are and your journey. It was quite entertaining and knowledgeable for me. I did not know that was all inside of that. So that was great. And we appreciate you taking the time to do it. Again, if you haven't tried God's Butter, you should, or any of the other products. I think they're amazing as well. And I look forward to the raffle. Hopefully a lucky customer wins so they can fall in love like I have. And we'll see you again soon.
All right. Until next time, I appreciate you guys.
All right. As for me, thank you guys for joining. Thank you for supporting us. Support your locals also. Support them like they support you. This man created from scratch stuff to help you in your life. It wasn't about money. He was just playing around and looking into things and reading, and look at where he created an entire business towards holistic health for you guys. And here we are. So thank you very much for sharing the time. We appreciate you, Akeem. Follow us on Instagram at Same Difference 2022 or on TikTok at Same_Difference_pod. YouTube is at VI_very_own. Don't forget again, Sunday live stream between 4 to 6 p.m. 101.3 Row FM. Other than that, that's Akeem. That's Nisi. I'm Ja. This is another episode of Same Difference. We love you guys. We out. Peace.
Adios.